Welcome back to Nick Lenz, Comic Corner Classic, known classic. This is episode number 2549 and Doubleshot number 2443. First up, we have Punisher Epic Collection Volume 5, and also discussing some issues of Generation X and an issue of X-Men Unlimited, which came out this period of time, so I figured, though, why not discuss it? Now, I should also point out, though, Generation X is getting pretty closely wrapped up because after these issues, you get a couple more trades, and that's it for the first volume. Now, the second volume, that's it. So, the fifth epic collection for Punisher is known as Jigsaw Puzzle. Yep, Jigsaw Puzzle, which collects issues 35, the 48, and number 4, and the No Escape and the Prize one-shots. Now, I should point out, though, for the main Punisher issues, Mike Baron, who's a regular of this book, he actually, believe it or not, writes all the issues published here except one. 45 he does not do. Nope. That is actually the first issue of a handful of issues of this series done by the writer of one of the spin-off books, Punisher Warzone, which we'll discuss in the future, Chuck Dixon. You're thinking, wait, Chuck Dixon, the famous Batman writer? Yep. He wrote Punisher. And he wrote Moon Knight as well. Now, Jigsaw Puzzle takes up the first 6 issues what's published here. Yeah, it takes up issues 35 to 40. It features the return of Jigsaw for the first time since Punisher number 4 that from the previous volume for the series. Now, I should point out this issue was released in May of 1990. This was Jigsaw's first appearance in 4 years. Yep, 4 years. Here he forms an alliance with the Rev to take down the Punisher, obviously. I guess Mike Baron probably felt as though, yeah, let's bring this guy back for this story arc. And Rev, he was last seen back in issue 5 of this book. So for him, it's been just a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years. Yeah, not as long as Jigsaw. It's like, wow, we bring back a really good villain like Jigsaw. And here's the strange thing. After this storyline wraps up, he next appears in issue 55 of this book. So it takes him a little over a year later. Yes, definitely. Yeah, and the whole thing with the Rev, it's found out that he's a worshiper of Belisco. You're thinking, Belisco, who the heck is that? Why, he's the demon in love with magic, aka Ilya Rasputin. Which, when he first met her, she was a little girl. So yeah, this guy is a pedophile. Yeah, he pops up in this book, which seems strange. Like, pops up in a Punisher book. Does that seem weird? Like, Belisco, a character associated with the X-Men Kazar, and yet he pops up in Punisher. And get this, his previous appearance was in an annual for Fantastic Four. But the Jigsaw Puzzle is a really good story arc. I do recommend checking it out. It's a really good piece here. Love the cover they have for the trade, the first issue here, where it's basically just Jigsaw proclaiming he's back. Yeah, last thing we seen Punisher basically last saw him when he was dealing with the Trust. Yep. And you think, okay, what's next? Well, we have a standalone issue where Punisher has a guest appearance by Nick Fury and deal with a group of people known as the Water Boys, which are a group of ladies who appear for one issue. Yep, because Punisher goes to New York City in this issue. In 42, he takes care of Colonel Harbor Fedina, who's a one-shot character. So yeah, excuse me. So let's have basically the main issue of this book be basically feature a bunch of one-shot issues. Basically, a lot of military people, not much for gangsters, more like military people. In issue 44, deals with a character named Arclight, who's just a singer who appears for one issue. It's like, yeah, let's have Punisher deal with one-shot characters for a little period of time. And then deal with a cabin killer in issue 45, which is the first issue done by Chuck Dixon. Yeah, you find this quite interesting, though, the fact that he would basically take a look. Now, This you might also find interesting about Mike Barron. He actually would leave. Like, get this. 48 would be, he would take a brief break right after 48. He'd come back for about 13 more issues, and then he would leave, come back for one off, and that was it. Annual 4 was actually the last annual he wrote for the series. Yep. That's 100% completely true. Yeah, annual 4 was part of the Von Strucker Gambit storyline, which also involved Captain America. Yeah. And then in issue 46, we have Mike Grant back in the book for a few more issues. Of course, Microchip is still here. Take on the Model Army. Yes. So more one-shot things like, yeah, I might just kill him off in the same issue. And then we have the Battle Gun story arc, which is basically a two-parter, which the Punisher inadvertently get involved with Operation Desert Storm. Like, that's very interesting to end off that. Yep. Yeah. But what about the end? Like I mentioned, it just deals with the Von Strucker Gambit. Now, some of you might be asking, like, what is the first end of this book that has nothing to do with some crossover? That doesn't happen in number 6. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the Von Strucker Gambit, which also have Captain America and Daredevil, which part 1 was in Daredevil and number 7. Part 2 was number 4, and Captain America number 10 was part 3. But the whole thing with that was just the opening story. And then we have, actually, a second story. The first story just basically about Punisher's backstory again. Second story is basically dealing with Hydra. The third story is all about Microchip putting on weight and Punisher's source message, and that's it. Yeah, and that's pretty much the main issues in a nutshell. But you might be thinking, okay, what about Punisher No Escape? Punisher No Escape is an issue where he teams with a U.S. agent to take on the MAGA, and also have a guest appearance by the Commissioner of Things. Also, this one shot, which came up the same period of time, this is written by Gregory Wright, artwork by Todd Smith. It's a very interesting one shot where, like, the CSA just happen to be involved here. Okay, what they want U.S. agents to do is to capture Punisher and put him in the vault. And U.S. agent points out, though, he doesn't have superpowers. He does not need to be in the vault. And the way the commissioner was like, you do what we tell you to do. Arrest him and put him in the vault immediately, U.S. agent. Or basically, we'll prove the fact you were a failure as Captain America. And they also mentioned his time with the West Coast Avengers in this book. Yeah, it also features appearance by the Paladin. By the way, he also appears in Generation X. I'll get to that. His appearance in that book is weird. But yeah, it's like, what was the purpose of them being here? No, seriously. What was the purpose of the CSA being in the Punisher one-shot? That's the weirdest thing. It's like they're here. By the way, this is just after they last appeared back in Captain America 350. Which came out 2 years prior to that. And then next they appear would be in the miniseries Nomad. Yeah, by the way, Paladin, very interesting character he is. He's basically just a mercenary. Yeah, here's the thing about him when he appeared in this storyline here. He last appeared in issue 15 of Mark Spector, which I'll discuss in the future, don't worry about that. But yeah, also for some reason he appears in Generation X for a few issues, which we'll be discussing in a bit. Yeah, really interesting story, one shot. Nothing bad per se about this one. It's just like, okay. Next we have The Prize. The Prize is basically written by Chris Henderson. It is mostly put Punisher to deal with drug dealers down in Mexico. It's a standard Punisher book. I'm surprised this book basically, given the style of story it is, I'm surprised this was not made as part of the main Punisher series. I don't know why. Probably because the content was probably a bit too violent for the Comic Code Authority. That is presumably the reason why for that. He also teams up with an Iron Man character named Vince Martini. Yeah, and he appears here as a quick guest star. Like, by the way, he actually made his last Iron Man appearance in 234. And after this one-shot issue, he does not appear ever again until the Christopher Chantwell run for Iron Man in 2022. So he has not returned again for 32 years. Yeah. But the one-shot itself was really good. Artwork by Mike Harris. Really good one-shot. I'm going to give basically this epic collection here a 9 out of 10. Pretty good stuff here. Alright, next up we have is Generation X. Now, with these particular issues, we're discussing issues 48 to 62. And there is a reason why I'm stopping at 62. Some of you probably thinking, why am I stopping at 62? Well, that's because basically there is a trade that comes. I'm going to discuss next time I discuss this series, Counter X Volume 2, because that's the one that starts with issue 63. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned it in when I was talking about Belisco. Yeah, he appears in issues 50. Actually, Paladin. It was Paladin. He appears, guess on issues 52, 54 for reasons, because he's there. Now, here's what happens, of course, this issue. You basically have Maggot join a team in issue 48. Then 49, we have Maggot leave while dealing with other stuff. And 50 is a bit of a strange issue this one was, because this is called War of the Mutants. It's a 2-part crossover with X-Men. Yes, seriously. Also, Jay Ferber is the writer of this book. Now, who wrote X-Men, you might ask? Terry Kavanaugh. I think he pretty much wrote almost this entire series. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he decided to do this, because why not? Deal with the G Nation, which is led by, well, Beast. The Dark Beast, excuse me, and that's it. 51 is noteworthy for after the events issue where the character Gaia leaves. Gia, she had joined the group in issue 37. I believe it was. Yeah, 37. Actually, 38. Yeah, and she's basically with the group until issue 51. Because she's an alien. By the way, she's a creation of Larry Hama. And this you might find interesting. Did you know that after this issue came out, she was never seen again? Yeah. I don't know why. She just stopped appearing. Book becomes even more stranger after this. Where, like, you have Leech and Artie become Spider-Ham and Doctor Doom, which is funny. There's also an issue where they go to different schools, and this also 53 is a guest appearance by of course, Paladin. A group called the Rising Suns. Now, also in these issues, I believe it was in issue 48, the very first issue of this run. This is the introduction to Emma Frost's evil older sister, who is basically in this series until just before the series wrapped up. Yep. Paladin is here just for a quick 3-parter, like up into issue like 54, I think it is. Yes, and then basically then we have it where she takes over as like a head mistress of the school, co-head mistress, and she has the Generation X stop wearing the regular red and yellow uniforms, where basically uniforms similar to the old Hellions, the original version of the group. The group has long since deceased. And of course, dealing with the Sentinels. And then we have H57 deal with the 5-year anniversary of the book. Now, it is also the first appearance of Hollow. well, the woman who became Hollow. Yeah, basically, Monet's twin sisters, her sisters, they get finally free from this thing. It's basically empty Huskow. Yeah, this has been a recurring thing since issue 1. And also about this period of time, M-Plate gets cured of him being the way he is. Kind of. Yeah, basically that's kind of how it is. It's quite interesting the fact that he's just here. That he's back here being a recurring villain. But after issue 58, he's back here for a quick 2-parter. And then appears in the annual for 1999. And then he's never seen again. Also in issue 58, Monette leaves the team along with her sisters. So Silver rejoins Alpha Flight. Yeah, and Play himself, after this issue here, he next appears in the 1999 annual, which basically the last annual came out for this series, where it's mostly put Jubilee deal with the murder of her parents. Does she quit the team after this issue? No, she's perfectly fine. M-Play himself, like after the annual, is never seen again in comic books. Like, by the way, this was in 1999. He was not seen again until 2009, roughly 10 years later. That was his next appearance. So, kind of in a way, as of right now, I have reviewed most M-Plate's appearances. You're thinking, okay, is there anything really left for him? I've reviewed most of his appearances that remains, except for the second volume of Generation X. Excuse me. And also, I would say the only thing left to go for him is just Volume 2 for Generation X and Dark X-Men Volume 2. That's really it. 59 has a guest appearance by New Warriors, The Avengers, and Spider-Man. Yeah. Spider-Man himself basically last appeared in issue 12 of the relaunch of Peter Parker Spider-Man. His next appearance would be in issue 13. Yeah, and of course deal with him to take on, well, take on the frickin' Sandman. Yeah, and also guest appearance by character Thomas Corsi. Yeah, he's been a character on since the Mutants days. 60 sadly put will be his last appearance to date. Yes. We also do with the apparent return of a character named Mondo. Yeah. He, of course, basically, first time he appears in issue 8 of the book. And then after issue 61, his next appearance will not be until Uncanny X-Men 379. Yes, that came out in 2000, which I discussed already. And after that will be Uncanny X-Men 600 in 2015. At the cover issue of X-Men Blue, he later appeared in the Mutants Volume 4. Well, the stuff, the Krakoa stuff. Yep. And his most recent appearance to date, in print, not the Infinity comic, was in X-Men Volume 5, number 21. That was the last time anybody saw him. 2 years ago. And then, of course, the team has to deal with appearance by the Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy. Who pretty much appeared for the last couple issues for this book. And, of course, Monette rejoins the team with issue number 60, I'll be bitten by a vampire. And it's kind of a good thing, too, I kind of stop with basically this book because 60 begins Counter X. Which I'll talk about that in the future for that one. Great issues. Not a bad issue, the bunch. But one more issue to talk about here. Not that one there. Aha, here we go. Yeah, next up we're going to talk about is an issue that features Generation X, X-Men Unlimited number 23. Yeah, mostly put it just where the X-Men are, well, Charles Xavier is pushing MAGA too far, and this just features a guest appearance by Generation X. I just wanted to briefly discuss this book because they're here in this book, so why not? The thing with X-Men Unlimited I was finding quite fascinating about this book, this is basically a book adjacent to the main Uncanny X-Men book. It basically kind of fills in some gaps between some issues. Yep. By the way, the book is by Ben Rabb. Yes. Xavier has sort of a test of patience with this book, and basically his relationship with the X-Men becomes nearly strained in Generation X. Of course, we deal with also a training session here, but these issues are pretty good. I love them. I will make an announcement here before I continue, before I end this video, that after I do the next set of issues of Punisher and the 7th Epic Collection, I will be taking a break from the main Punisher book. That will go on hiatus for a little while, purely because I want to do the spin-off books, War Zone and War Journal. Starting with Wars, I'm gonna do both those two at the same time. Well, I'm gonna start with War Journal, obviously, and the main reason why is because basically there's a crossover between the three books, basically celebrating 10 years of Punisher, as an ongoing. Because I really want to get to that particular storyline, but I want to get their books up to that particular point, and then basically finish up not long after that. Yep. So those will be added. Don't worry about that. But yeah, that's pretty much a particular view. Excuse me. So the only video probably planned for today, if it comes out, Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, next video. Bye.